Good evening and welcome to the Simply Colorful FiberCast. Today's date is September 29th, 2016. My name is Lynn Marquidon and I'm your host. Welcome. I'm so glad you could join me, and I know it's a day early, but I've been looking forward to it all day and I have so much to bring you up to speed on. We're still working on our mystery quilt. Clue number 5 is what we're going to talk about today, and I actually wrote down other things we're going to cover today. We're going to assemble Clue 5, the Storm at Sea inner blocks. We're going to talk about the diamond in a square blocks. I'm going to give a reminder about fabrics. We're going to talk about Sally Maver's fiber art. I have some pictures that I found of that in a magazine. I'm also going to tell you about a wedding we're going to, what happened this day in history, baseball we're going to talk about, and then we're going to wrap it up with a little teaser for next week for Clue number 6. So welcome. Grab a project and come play with me. It is amazing what we get done in 60 minutes, and I have to tell you, it's amazing what I just got done, if I do say so myself, in the last 2 hours. I am going to be done with my inner Storm at Sea blocks tonight. That's my goal. In fact, here you can see I've been cleaning some up. So why don't we do it? First things first. As always, FiberCast is really just about all of us doing something together. It's usually Friday nights. Now it's Thursday night. We're in the midst of this brown bag mystery quilt. Go to simplycolorful.com or go to the Facebook page, Simply Colorful Quilt Along, and you will find the clues and the patterns and everything that's available to you. So, Clue 5. This one's a doozy, a little bit more work than last week, and the exciting thing is that we have dove into some bright new fabrics. Bright orange and teal. I've been waiting to use these fabrics for a few weeks now, and I've been having fun with them. So, first off, the diamond in a square block is so easy. This is what it's going to look like, and you're going to make 8 of them. We're not even going to make them tonight because they're so easy. You literally print out the paper pattern piece, take your 8 diamond pieces that you cut out of your supernova, and I think we wrote down which ones they are, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18, 22, 30, and 51. This clue again proved that this is really a puzzle, right? So pull out all of those diamond tagged squares from your supernova piece and then cut out 4-inch pieces of your K. In my case, that's dark orange. Cut them 4 inches by 4 inches, cut them down the middle, a diagonal, and then use them to create 8 of these. And you'll see I have 7. Here's my 8th one up here on the wall. And look at the difference in the supernova colors that are in those blocks. That's fun. Very light, very dark. The values are very different. So that's easy. You could do that with your one eye closed, possibly. Let's go to page 3 for the Storm at Sea inner block. And this is going to look awfully familiar. It's the very same block we made last week with one exception. We're only making 12. We're not making 16. And this diamond is a different color. That's the only thing that's different. As always, keep your tag on your block on the supernova piece. Don't move it. Don't change the direction of it. Just keep it there. That will save us so much headache next week, because next week we get to put this all together. And by next week you will have a laptop size quilt. Okay, so that's a little encouragement. If you feel like this paper piecing is never going to end, we're getting there. Just keep plugging along. It's going to be worth it. So what I've done today, and I'm pretty happy about it, I had all of my paper pieced patterns printed out, and I had cut all of my fabrics. So on page 4 it tells us how, right? So I'd cut out my fabrics. And then in the last 2 hours, I've gone to town. But before I get to showing you what I've sewn so far and what we have left, let's talk a bit about the layout, and we're going to keep coming back to this, but on this clue, what will be really helpful is to print out this layout file. It was back either last week or the week before. It's on the website, it's on Facebook. This is what you want to print out, because the inner storm at sea that are purple, the 12 blocks that we're making, it's going to be important to get the direction of the supernova fabric going the right way. And there are groups of threes. So we're going to do this group of three, this group, and this group. Hope that makes sense. And in the instructions, it shows us which way to have the supernova fabric going, and that's what we're going to do tonight. First off, these 3 blocks, 17, 7, and 8. Then we're going to do 26, 25, 24. Then we're going to do 16, 15, 14, and then finally 10, 11, 23. So hopefully that'll make sense. And so I thought that would be a good thing to do tonight while we're all together. Okay, so let's put all of this aside, the pattern. And again, although I'm going to have to pull it out very shortly, here's the first one that I've made. Here are all of the other supernova pieces that I've pulled out. And I think first I'm going to put them into the piles of 3. That makes sense. Who saw, oh, we have to talk about the weather vane pattern too. Those Y seams are a pain, aren't they? That's one of the hardest blocks I've ever done. Okay. Start at the back maybe. Okay, 17, 7, and 8. That'll be one type. Then we have 24, 25, 26. That'll be a second pile. 10, 11, 23, and then this should be 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have 4 piles of blocks. And I'm sorry, there's just so much stuff around here. I'm looking forward to getting upstairs. Okay, in the new studio. And I don't need 2 pairs of glasses. That's when you know. I hope you're laughing. Okay, let's pull off 1 glass. Okay, let's go to what we have to prepare for the rest of the blocks. So now we have them into our 4 piles. I have already made 12 of those. So and I've trimmed those up. So those are all done. These I'm in the process of trimming up. I've done 2. So let's do the other 10 of those. And if you'll, so this is literally the raw paper piece. And then literally, and I think I'm getting close to having to change my blade, but it's still pretty good. I just used the line on the ruler to do my 1/4 inch. I haven't, knock on wood, made the mistake yet of cutting on the line, on the cutting line. I hope I don't do that, because what I wanted to say is, see how much extra blue I have here of the D? I am very close. I'm going to be very close to using up every piece of that fabric. So if you haven't gotten to the part where you're making these blocks, cut your D fabric a little bit smaller. Just be very judicious with that fabric and conserve it as much as you can. So it's this. We're going to need it next week, a little bit more of it. like a 1/16 of a yard, or maybe even as much as an 1/8 of a yard. And all I have left literally is that much. So I just wanted you to know that the D fabric, the way I've been doing it, which is with very, very big paper piecing, is just going to be enough. For those of you doing scrappy, hopefully that will be even easier. You can just reach in your pile and do more. Speaking of which, Rita, over in the Netherlands, is that where you are, Rita? I saw your weather vane patchwork. I'll have to pull that out. Oops. I'm going to just drop. No, we're good. I love seeing that. And did you see Janie is using the Oh Baby Baby pattern, and she's teaching, and I think she's doing it as a mystery. Let me know, Janie, if that's not true, with her quilters down south. So that has been, imagine my surprise when I saw all of those quilts in progress in my feed, my Facebook feed this morning at 5 o'clock. I have not been able to sleep this for like 2 weeks now, and I should be good because I don't have any trips, any business trips on the books right now, which I'm thrilled about. And usually that causes me not to sleep well, but I'm not sleeping well. I hope you all are, because of course the weather's getting better and it's supposed to be good sleeping weather. Anyway, I've been getting up early at 5 or 4, and the dog and I have a little ritual. And then I look at my Facebook, and then I fall back asleep. So, and I think I've talked to several of you who have said you have a similar scenario. Isn't this aging thing wonderful? I often wonder what it's like as a parent to watch your children age. It must be bittersweet. Because certainly, well, we're almost done here. But speaking of dogs, so Allie and I get up, I think I've told you that before, and we have our little ritual. Well, because Bob and I are going to a wedding tomorrow night, we are taking her, she is going to stay at a kennel overnight. She hasn't been in a kennel in years, mainly because she has become frail, and when she would come home from the kennel, she was sore and just seemed sad. And who's out there? Hey! Hi, KB. Oh, awesome. KB says, hi, I'm back to sewing after a great visit with Mom. Oh, I'm so glad. I was so jealous she was out there. And Mom, if you're on, hi. She says, I've got some catching up to do, and I'm encouraged. Now I have to hit. Sorry, I'm in the middle of it. I have this phone that locks up. Oh, now iOS wants to install another operating system. Just love your weather vane. She says, I'm encouraged to be seeing you make great progress. Oh, good. And she says, have fun at the wedding. I'm psyched about the wedding. This is really fun. This is the first nephew, or niece for that matter, on Bob's side of the family that's getting married. And there are 11 of them. And this is the first. We're going out to Amherst, Massachusetts. We're going to leave here after work tomorrow. And the wedding's tomorrow night at, I want to say, a place called the Lord Jeffrey Inn in Amherst. It looks lovely. Of course, now, what have we been talking about all summer long? No rain, right? The drought, it's hard to grow anything, yada, yada, yada. don't you know these kids might just get rain tomorrow night? But that's good luck. And KB, I'm psyched that you're encouraged. Your work on the weather vane encouraged me to get moving. Although I must confess I only have 3 of those blocks done. I did a lot of prep. It's the hardest block to get done. Okay, so now we have 12 of these. And I'm going to put those aside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 of the 4 piles of these aside. And let's clean this up, because this is the key part, is just making sure the supernova stripes go in the right way. Okay. So we're going to do 17, 7, and 8. Those inner blocks right there. And then we're going to go to page 6. And we're going to look right here. And so if I'm looking at it, I want to make 3 of them like this, where the lines are going like this, diagonally, and it's darker over here and lighter over here. Darker here, lighter. Darker, lighter, darker, lighter. So I literally want to make 3 with that placement. And I'll show you, I literally am going to look at this, and then I want to be able to read the 7. So remember, I haven't moved this, so I want to be able to read the 7 and read the 8. And then I have these, which is the final piece here. I want to sew the 7 and the 8 to that. So can you see that? Here, here, and here. So I'm going to sew that to that, that to that. And then we'll come back and we'll do the tops. Okay? I know it's a little bit tricky. And this is where I'm going to do them in batches of 3. I'm not going to do all 12 at once. So literally I keep the pin on, and I haven't trimmed this other piece at all. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the supernova fabric, a lot of these squares were cut not on grain, so they're stretchy, they're on the bias. So just be careful not to stretch them, and be gentle with them, and make sure that when you place this, when it unfolds, it's going to cover the square. Here, let's do this one while we're right here. So right on the line, I have my stitch down to 1.7, like always. You guys are going to be so sick of paper piecing. Thanks for hanging with me, though, and doing it. I really do hope we're making something real fun. If it's like our daffodil and crocus quilt, I look back at that and I think, look at all those pieces we did. Okay, so there's that. And then I finger press this one. Okay. So now I just want to keep going back to my instructions and make sure that I have 17 going that way. I have 7 going that way, light to dark. I have 8 light to dark going that way. Okay, so now, oh, I probably need to trim it up, don't I? Easy enough. This is the fun part of construction, for sure. I love this. There. Make sure it's all good and flat. This can be the trickiest part because you're putting your ruler on top of the pin that's on the other side. Just do it carefully, hold it steady, and trim. Okay. And there we go. There's one. I had two. Okay. I have some technology changes in my future. So, and I've yet to figure out how to get the Simply Colorful email on my phone. But now that I work for a different computer company, we are getting new laptops, new Dell laptop, which I'm excited about. And I ordered that today. And hopefully a new phone. And I might go to an Android. Whatever I go to, I'm getting a bigger screen on my phone. Because I can hardly see this little puny thing anymore. So, okay. So we've got all three here, and they're all in the right length. Now I'm going to line up two of these. And sew these two together. You know, it might take us the full hour to put these together. These are so small and so well aligned, famous last words, that I'm not even pinning them. You just have to be careful to hold them and make sure they don't slip. And then the beauty of this block is that you can nest the seam. And always, here's a tip that you probably do, but when you're nesting the seam, put the top seam facing up. And then when you sew down, it'll just nest it right into the other seam. So, a couple of pins on this one. And there we go. There. It's not quite on the line on the other side, so let's see. We may have to cinch it in just a little bit. Yep, I'm going to cinch it in just a little bit. There we go. That seam is not going anywhere. there is, so we have 17, 7, and now we'll do this one. Even though the pieces are little on this storm, it's a C, I found the block to be pretty fail-safe. Can't do too much harm. So my friend Sarah, the one who was in Alaska last month, she's in Hawaii this month. That girl can live. And she's the one that I'm going to Art Is next weekend, which is why, believe it or not, next week FiberCast will be on a Wednesday night. So get cranking on these clues. And then, so next week, yep, so I'm a little off. I'm going to go do just a smidge in. Okay, good. So by next week we'll see what the lapse quilt size looks like, and then the last final 2 weeks we will make the quilt big. Okay, so there we go. I can't. 7, 17, and 8. Okay, so let's put those aside. Now let's do $10, $11, $12. So go to page 7 and literally go 10, 11, 23. Not. Aha. So make sure you read them all. 10, 11, 23, and then do this. 1, 2, 3. I hope that's making sense. So now I'm going to sew those 3 on, and then we're going to come back and put these on the top of them. Okay? I was reading someone's comment on, several months ago when we were doing the braided rug. And we say this, the FiberCast, not Simply Colorful, but the FiberCast is not a training video, right? This is just us getting together. And the comment was, she does a lot of visiting. That's what we're doing. So funny. Well, I should just not even think about it, but I keep thinking about it. Thinking, I wish I could talk to her. And I could reply. Okay. But frankly, it's been busy. As is everyone, right? We're all busy. What have you all been working on? Okay, so there are 3 in a line. This works well if you just focus on 3 at a time. And then literally, I fold that back and I trim it up. So next week down in Stamford, Connecticut, I'll be at a conference called Art Is. And I'm really looking forward to it. We're staying in a hotel, and then during the day we take classes. I'm only taking 2 classes, but I'm bringing another doll that I have to make, that I want to make. I'm taking a class on Friday around clay, working with clay, polymer clay. And then Sunday night, believe it or not, Sunday night I'm making an angel doll. Just from like 6 to 9 on a Sunday night. Can you believe that? Okay, so let's make sure we have this all going the right way. I might see about ironing this. They're a little, I don't think I did iron the other one. Okay, so there's 10, 11, 23. They're all going this way. You can even slightly see it on the camera, I think. It's light here, it's dark here. So that's good. And now I'm going to iron them and then trim them up. KB and Mom, I wish you were coming to the wedding with me, with us. Bob is going to wear the same suit he wore when we were married, which probably does not surprise you. What was that, 17 years ago? Pretty amazing. Meanwhile, I have a shirt that I've been saving. I've had it since the spring. It's so pretty. It's navy with some flowers on it. So, of course, now I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to look like an old lady with big flowers on. So I may change my mind, but it's so pretty. And I was going to wear a rather short skirt, or a skirt above my knee, but it's going to be cold tomorrow. So basically, I still don't know what I'm wearing to the wedding. But I will figure it out. We're staying at the University of Massachusetts has a hospitality school, and they have a hotel that the students practice on, I believe. I've never been there, but that's where we're staying. I don't think it's very far from the Lord Fauntleroy. It's not Lord Fauntleroy. The other inn. Okay. Mom, I saw your pictures of the last, was it a chrysanthemum or a Jerusalem artichoke? That yellow flower, and then your tomatoes. Your last little tomatoes, that was great. Okay, so we just need to clean this up. After I make these 3, I'll check the email. As always, because I can't figure out my Lynn at simplycolorful.com yet, send me an email if you want and show me what you're working on. I know it's a weeknight. lmarquidant@gmail.com. Or post it on Facebook or Google, wherever you would like. People love to see what you're working on and connect. Sandra down in Mississippi, I hope you're well. Marquet, Norma, I love to see you online. Okay, so they're all looking good. Now literally going to put there, and here. And that will be right. Okay. This is, you know, the adage in woodworking, measure twice, cut once. That's probably a good idea at this stage. Keep double checking to make sure the stripes in your supernova are going the right way. Oops. There's 3. I may have to do a double. Let me check the other side. No, that's pretty good. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because you come down on the nesting of the seams is not as easy. The foot, because of the way I have to line it up, how do I describe this? Underneath, the 1/4 inch seam of the supernova is going back that way. So I have to do the top seam this way, and if I have to go down this way, the feet are going to push it. So it's going to be hard to seam it, to get it to nest right. But it'll be good. It'll be fine. Just have to pay a little more attention to it. Sort of pin it all in place so that it doesn't push down. All right. So I'm right here, and I'm just, there we go. Beauteous. There's that. So here in New England, our Red Sox won the, oh boy, I was meant to look this up. Last night, what did they win? The American League? They're in the playoffs. That's, I think, what I know. And they have this unbelievably funny ritual that, where have I been the last 20 years? Bob says they've been doing it for 20 years. Well, first, let me back up. Last night, the Boston Red Sox played the New York Yankees, and the Red Sox were winning for the whole game, and then in the bottom of the ninth, oh, and was it Baltimore? Some other team lost, so by default, the Red Sox had won their division. That's what they are, divisional champions. So they'd already won it. Well, in the bottom of the ninth, don't the Yankees end up doing a walk-off home run? Look, bases are loaded. Someone hits a home run. They walk off. They end up winning 4 or 5-3. So then, I mean, it was so, the tide turned. So then all of our players go inside, and there are hats and shirts saying they're the division leaders. And it was very well done. You know, they were all down in the dumps because they had just lost a game that they should have won. But then the manager said something really good. He said, don't let one inning ruin the opportunity to feel good about what you've accomplished. And he said, you've got talent, you have stuck to it, and most of all, you care about each other as a team. And it was, oh. Well, then they all put goggles on, and they'd shake up champagne, and they'd douse each other with champagne for not hours, but for a long time, and they look ridiculous. Does anyone else think that's a really silly tradition? Where did that come from? And I said to Bob last night, as we were watching it, I said, I don't think this is going to last because it's so wasteful. I was thinking of the drought. No champagne, I don't know if it would hurt plants, but it seemed like such a waste. To which he told me to loosen up. They just won the division. It was pretty funny. So I'm curious if you all have ever seen that tradition, or if there are other sporting traditions. I mean, we quilters, we don't get together with goggles on and shoot champagne at each other. We have just as much to celebrate. Okay, there we go. So we are halfway done with putting this together. I'm just going to squinch it down with the iron. There and there. Yay! Okay, let's put those there. Now before I get to our other two piles, let me see if anyone's out there. I know, it's a funny night. Being a Thursday and all. Hopefully. Oh, you are out there. Linda Griffin. Hi. She says, glad to be able to catch you live tonight. Me too. I've got all the brown bag clues printed out. Oh my, great to see how all are doing. Oh good, I'm glad you have them printed out. She says, I'm working on a modern quilt for my daughter-in-law. I'm just starting the blocks. This needs a couple more rounds before it's complete. Ooh, I love it. And you have to tell us about those scissors you have. I love that. Modern is speaking to me now. I can't believe I'm saying that. And it looks like you have those fancy scissors that Wendy Nuremberg showed me this summer. So you'll have to tell us what those are. Ooh, and I love your machine. Is it a 301? 401? Anyway, Linda says, say hello to all of the other FiberCasters for me. I so enjoy hearing about them and seeing the progress they are making on their projects. I do too. I really do. Have a great time at the wedding. I hope everyone has a nice weekend. Your quilting buddy, Linda G. in My Quilt Haven. Thank you, Linda. And thank you for sending me the picture of that spool, the thread holder that your husband made. That is cool. That gave me a good idea. Leah. Hi. She says, a blue mystery fabric. She says, hi, Lynn and FiberCasters. Glad to hear about the blue fabric. I cut my 128 for clue 4 and ran short for the 96 in clue 5. So I will need to get more. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You could substitute the darker color G if you had to. But if you can get a little more color D, that would be good. I'm sorry about that. We'll have to, I guess, fix the pattern or... Yeah, so you asked, would a quarter to a half a yard more be enough for the rest of the clues? Yes. She says with trepidation. I believe so. Oh, thank you for playing along. I'm so glad you are. Oh, Marquet's out there. Hi, Marquet. The woman with lots of sewing machines. I love to see your sewing machines. Marquet says she's loving the blocks. Why, thank you. She says, happy Thursday to you and everyone. I'm finishing up my last 2 blocks of the swap, and then I will start on the first clue. I will have to go and get the other clues printed out at the library because it's cheaper than printing at home. Good point. I got 2 more machines on Friday. I have the Singer 404 cleaned up, but she's having issues sewing backwards. But I will figure it out. I know you will. You're like my mother. You will figure it out. She says, I also got another green Singer 185J, a match to my other one that I named Peggy Sue. So I will call this one Patsy Lou. I love it. Did you ever get your olive oil working? No, Kathy Rossini still has it. Aww. And she says, you're so funny, Lynn. Thank you. I love your personality. I had to laugh about the glasses because I've done the same thing. Oh, I'm glad. Silly, silly. And I have to go to, I think, Ocean State Job Lot to get more tomorrow. Although, this probably, because these are all scratched up. And I'm thinking, if I'm at a wedding and I have to read a menu or something, I'm clearly not quite ready for this wedding. But actually, no, I don't have to go to Ocean State Job Lot. They sell these for, well, they're going up in price. $2 maybe. Ooh, I like those. Ooh, they're not as scratchy. Aww. Oh, and you asked, do I have more Supernova fabric? I will be ordering mine on the 1st if you do. Well, I'm loving your colors, so pretty. I do. I have 2 bags left. I want to send it to you and Norma. I'll be ordering mine. Let's see. Poor Allie, but she will do fine. Thank you. Yep. You know, we had to take her to the vet to get shots in order to be boarded. So this has been a whole thing. Yesterday, Bob took her. She had to get kennel cough shot and rabies, because we haven't brought her in for years, right? And then they even had to test her stool. So, of course, Bob had to come home, and then I had to run that up. And then they charge you. They say, give me your credit card. They take the dog poop. They take the credit card. You pay $30, something ridiculously too high. And they say, okay, no news is good news. If you don't hear from us, everything's fine. That's a very unsatisfying transaction. Can I just tell you that? Oh, I'm glad you're out there, Marquet. Okay, and everyone, I'm glad you're all out there. Linda? Okay, let's go 14, 15, 16. We'll definitely get to more email in a minute. I just want to make sure that we all see how this is done. And it takes a little bit, but make sure, like when I'm lining up 14, 15, and 16, I can read them all. 16, 15, 14. It's not like it's upside down. Okay, and it's lighter on this side and darker on this side. You can kind of see that with the camera. And now, and this is on page 7, what I want to do is literally sew that, and that, and that. The swap that Marquet has been doing has looked so fun. Those are big blocks. They're all going to have a nice quilt when it's all over. KK and Cherie, I hope you've received your Simply Colorful t-shirts. They should be there by now. And Wendy and Crystal down under, and Allie down under, and Peggy. I hope you are enjoying the spring flowers. There we go. I bet the repetition of quilting might drive some people crazy. I love it. know, I can't do it forever, but I do like seeing the blocks come alive. I guess that's what I like most. And I have to tell you, on these mornings when I'm getting up at 5, coming downstairs, watering the dog, making the coffee, eating a muffin, like I should be doing that, no. And then falling back asleep. I fall back asleep under my, is it my Celtic solstice? My patchwork that I made with Bonnie years ago. And I love it. Keeps me warm. I have flannel on the back. So we just keep. Now, I'm kind of breaking my own rule there. I try not to stretch this too much, but if it gets off kilter, definitely stretch it so it fits over your square on the back, if that makes sense. And now we're going to trim it up again. Just being careful to lay out the fabric. Has anyone been watching The Voice on TV? With Blake Shelton, this is where it's kind of like karaoke singing, but people have beautiful voices that they bring on. And then they sing and the 4 judges are in their chairs and they're turning around. I think Miley Cyrus is going to be a hoot. Okay, so there's one. Make sure to keep it nice and flat. Oh, and congratulations to people who are continue to get ribbons at their fairs. I love seeing that. Think of all the people who enjoy seeing what you put in the fair, too. I know I love going through the fair and just seeing all the sunflowers that are 7 feet tall and the butter that's been churned by hand by my cousin. Ben, if you're out there, that's amazing what you can do with food. This is the same cousin. His daughter Violet came on this summer. Remember, she made her quilt. It was hanging up behind us, and she was incredibly poised. We'll have her on again, I hope, if she wants to. And but they're the ones who make honey. They have a colony of bees that are making honey. They forage in the winter. They go out and they find food and forage, and then they enter competitions. So they might catch a deer and make venison chili, or he has all sorts of different things. Pickled like bamboo shoots or something that he found. Okay. So, again, we're on page 7, 16, 15, 14. I can read them all. Light over here, dark over here. And now, literally, if I'm following the picture, I'm making sure to put this on the bottom. Right? Not on the top, on the bottom. So I'm literally going to place that like that. That like that. And this. Marquet, the color I have of the supernova is ochre. This is onyx, so it's black and white. The color that I have is yellow and black. So, and like I say, I will send both bags to you and to Norma, or one to each of you. but I want you to know I ran out of, and my supplier ran out of the black and white. So. And I think a few of you, like Leah, have the ochre, which is going to look fabulous with the maroon. Right? It's a little off. I look at both sides when I look at this. Carol Doak would not think this was fine paper piecing, but for me, it's doing okay. That's a good one. That's perfecto. So given that, let's see. No, that's fine too. Now, see what I just did? I almost goofed. I put this one on the wrong end. Remember, measure twice, cut once. Look at this twice, sew it once. I need to put it on this side. And keep going back to this. 16, 15, 14. Yep, 16, 15, 14, and they're all on this side. Okay, we're good. Phew. You know when I would have caught that? Next Tuesday night when I'm tired. I love this. I was thinking it's been a very busy fall, which it always is, and I know I'm always saying that. And then I thought to myself, I'm doing things that I'm really enjoying doing. So, quit my complaining. When you think about it, I get to go to my nephew's wedding tomorrow. I don't have to get on a plane. I don't have to leave Bob. And I get to go to an art conference next weekend. I'm making a doll. I'm making this quilt. I'm getting a new PC. Life is pretty good. Knock on wood. Anyway, I wonder what time it is. Are we complete? Oh my goodness. We have 1 minute left. Let me finish these three. And let me look at my list and make sure we have covered everything. I reminded you about the fabrics. The wedding, okay, this day in history, and Sally Maver. Sally Maver is an artist down in Falmouth, Massachusetts. She has been making fiber art for her career. She went to, it probably says in here, I believe one of the art schools. So she's a trained fine artist, and she has just stuck to what she does day in, day out, and her work. But I don't know if I've shown you this before or not. She's basically painting with wool and embroidery. So that's one example. Sally Maver. There's another one in here. There's a little one. It's kind of neat. She opens her studio apparently every couple of years down in Falmouth, and a friend who's in the Tarts, Pat, visited it the other day, and she said it was very quaint, very old-fashioned, very comfortable. Oh, here's the other one. You see that in the middle? So, that's how we'll kind of end this FiberCast, is to be inspired by other artists. You all inspire me. I really love to see what you make and hear your stories. Let me just say hi to everyone before we sign off. I'll finish this, and I hope you feel inspired to keep going. Norma says, I'm watching tonight. I haven't started the mystery yet, but I have been going to the library to print all the clues. Oh, good, thank you. I've got to get my grandkids' quilts done before I can start on a new project. She says, I'm loving everyone's progress and can't wait to see how my colors will look. Hope everyone has a great weekend. You too. Love seeing your pictures. That's excellent. Leah, oh, good. She said she watched clue number 4 again yesterday and made the outer sea storm at sea. Perfect. So fun. Here's what I've made so far. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. So if that doesn't encourage you to get moving, nothing will. Leah, that is wonderful. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for joining us at FiberCast and for doing all you do. You inspire me. Keep doing it. I'll see you next Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and we'll have another FiberCast. Have a great weekend. Bye.